In an earlier time in China, the source of moral and aesthetic truth was felt to be the unity and balance between feeling and reason. The Gao-style House of Light snake form is used to do this very thing from the beginning of your practice. You want to balance between feeling and reason. The pre-heaven palm change on the circle gives you the big idea. The whirlwind was the most powerful natural force ancient man encountered. It's no wonder that Bagua incorporated the circular energy and imagery of the whirlwind into its DNA. We're going to break the form of the palm change down into increments and explain each application. This is the form. Constantly turning and going behind the opponent while maintaining structural integrity and having the capacity to change levels while moving and striking makes the Bagua man a natural in a multi-group violent action. This is the form. So when I turn him here, float. That's the form, the application. Through this path here, behind his shoulder, and then up. And he's firing. He's floating right there on my arm. Okay, now this, obviously sets him up for all kinds of strikes coming back the other way, but also the knee. Now, if he goes to do that to me, then I'm going around. And that's the other part of the chain. This is the form. This is the application. Snake uses the smooth body palm. It slides in past the defense. It's a slippery, soft, forward pressing force. Different Shin working through different masters structure their experience here in this dimension in a variety of ways. These variations on a martial theme are based on the culture and context of the art's use on a daily basis. They come down to us as these classical forms. Now, if he goes to do that to me, then I'm going around, and that's the other part of the chain. And then if he was to do that to me, when he comes here, he's extended his elbow again, so he's back to being vulnerable to that. And that is the other piece of the chain. So the applications help make sense out of it, and they clearly illustrate the principles that the art's based on. I can bar his arm, or some combination of the two. When he's coming forcefully, I'm going. It looks like Bagua, feels like Tai Chi, has a definite Xingyi flavor to it. It's a fascinating hybrid. The other piece of the chain. So the applications help make sense out of it, and they clearly illustrate the principles that the art's based on. Push. Very similar. But Bagua has that little different feeling to it. Shingy, they would ward step through. The Gao style of Bagua is divided into pre-heaven and post-heaven practices. The two sets are complementary, as in yin and yang. This is Kai. And off of rolling, go over here. And traditionally this is taught off of a wrist grab to a beginner. And so the fundamental theory is right here in the first thing. I'm going to turn it over, and the palm is going this way, and this horse is going at a right angle to it. And this is the theory of the cross tie. So off the wrist grab is right here. Okay, then he doesn't have to be grabbing me to do it. We're here, and then I'm just going to go like that and control the arm. See, it's been replaced so that I can shoot straight in past his feet. And this is the smooth body palm. Slide it across his arm. The outside is yang, inside is yin, and I want to go from being held out here to slide it in. Okay, and this is termed rolling, and this is spiraling. And that they have a yin-yang relationship. And you've got to be able to take his pressure and turn it off and then spiral through it. So it's roll, spiral. And it's very much like Taiji ward off, but it's done cross tie. Okay, now if he tries to replace me and come in here, so he's going to give me a force on my arm at a right angle to where he's coming and try to come in. Then I'm going to turn and control his elbow. And that's the second move. That's double supporting palm. In order to reach my chest, he has to extend his elbow away from his body, and then it becomes rollable. Okay, if he tries to punch straight in instead of just pushing or instead of a push hands context, he's going to go to punch straight in, and I'm going to take it up like Shingy, and then down, and down. And this is single supporting. And again, it has that Kai energy. He's taking it up and down first to dissipate his force. Okay, then the fourth one is to search, and it's based off of, I'm going to step up and threaten his eyes and get the reflex out of it, and then again the smooth body palm slides through his guard and knocks him back. Okay, one more time. From here, it's okay. Now my teacher said, you show me one, I show you two applications for each move. And so the most basic one is either a chin-a or counter chin-a. And then there's at least two more applications for every movement. Now the next one is coming here and going in. And then that would be, again, that same kind of force applied to his neck and head. Can't really execute that. That's taking it off this way and in. And that would be like that, so it would be his head. And or this can execute a twist too. You know, that fatal chiropractic adjustment. And the next one can be executed sort of like shuttles. And then once you get here, they're using the fork of the torso to collapse your stance. And then the next one we'll do off chin when he tries to turn my wrist back. I'm taking it up and out, and reverses it. And push hands context, I'm coming here and it's going like that. That's this shape. So making a circle around his elbow. Okay, now that's used when I put a little traction on it, I feel it pull back. That's what I'm wrapping around. Okay, if I feel him coming forward, then I'm sliding through. And again, he's got to do part of it. I want him to do half the work. So when he comes forward, then I can slide in, go rise and drill, and then turn him around. Okay, the spiral up and the turn around have the yin-yang relationship. And the last one, to bind, is done off of a roll or ward off, but I'm going to twist his bones in his forearm over. And again, I don't have to really threaten the joint or hurt him, because this right here makes him float. A simple twist, he floats. And that's the piece of Taiji theory that Gao style uses, is that making them float and then striking them or taking them down. And it goes back to the very beginning. Push. The Kai, I'm going to go right in here, and he floats my arm, and I take it away from him, and I catch him trying to keep his balance, take him back. Should feel like he doesn't weigh anything, no effort. Okay, that's the 8 post-heaven tactics. You know, a lot of times it's translated as palm, and you can see why when it's the hand coming through. But really these are 8 tactics from the House of Light, the snake. Snake. Smooth body. And what seems like a straight line is really a circle and a spiral. So I'm taking it in here and then through. And that can be done from push hands. Push hands, I'm trying to take them over here, and there, now I've got it. And that's the primary entry method, is right here. Okay, we're doing the same thing, and I feel him from here withdraw instead of let his hand go across. Then I'm coming this way. Okay, I can also As I feel his arm go back, I take him up this way and then I cut him that way. If instead of withdrawing his arm right here, I gotta be reading it. And I feel him coming forward, then I'm taking him up, down, through the door. And then again, that's the snake has that hot opening energy. See if we can get a different view of this from here. So for wrist grabs, the way you teach a beginner. Also, if he's attacking my groin, then I step back and pull his arm and attack him, or I can bar his arm, or some combination of the two. When he's coming forcefully, I'm going. It looks like Bagua, feels like Taiji, has a definite Xingyi flavor to it. It's a fascinating hybrid. You roll and then spiral. Taiji, they would ward off and push. Very similar. But Bagua has that little different feeling to it. Xingyi, they would ward, step through. That's another thing about this, it's really based on walking. And so, if I'm here and I want to go through, I'm going to drive my thigh through. And that's just walking, it's just based off one step. There are many auxiliary exercises that emphasize the extension of the postures, and this is the one for snake. These drills help you combine the pre-heaven and the post-heaven exercises. I do a lot of research using Chinese sources and have a deep interest in the oral tradition. On this video, we're going to present, line by line, the song or poem that was used to pass the art down verbally. So, for the first time, I present the Song of Kai Zheng.
进步开掌打千胸，立桩上穿谢法令。穿手摇身横掌创，转身将腕用外领。敌若转身还开掌，上立反背右拳崩。托掌离领贴身打，二人穿手转掌行。
So the next really basic Bagua principle is the principle of the cross tie, which is represented by the crossing of the arms here, but in general, the principle is that I want to apply force at 90 degrees to the angle of either his incoming force or mine. So for instance, if he grabs my wrist, I'm going to generate a force going straight that way, and at the same time I'm going to generate one going that way. So it's... Now that is the principle of single change also. So when his forward pressure is here, I'm going to turn to 90 degrees where it was going. This is where the offense then starts. This is also used to cross their elbow across the center line and wall off the backhand. This is also the cross tie. So it's similar to trapping and Wing Chun. I'm going to try to get that across there, but I don't even have to cross his arm. What I do is get this joint across his midline. You can stay there just when your arm goes, and that takes away his power punch here. He's crossed up. So when he's crossed, then I can come straight in. Okay, the other thing, particularly with takedowns, is that I have to change the angle in the gap. So when he goes to try to take me down, I have to turn and change the angle. If the defense is going to be in your feet, then you've got to move at the correct time, and particularly inside as they close to a grappling range and try to take you down, you must change the angle. Okay, now all this is represented in the form right here. The key linear movement we're going to look at is Kai Gua. And let's do it this way. Coming here and then through. So the motion, any kind of pressure, whether he's punching or grabbing me, is going to go down first. I'm going to control his elbow, and then I'm controlling the center line coming straight through. Now this leads to the last basic principle we're going to talk about, which is the use of the lever. There's 3 different gaps with the stance in Gao style Bagua. It can be short, you got to generate the power from your center. It can be medium, but the knees are still bent to some degree, and then it can also be fully extended. And this extension is using from the back heel through the front hand. The whole body becomes a big lever. Okay, now you can learn how to use that basic leverage in a number of different ways. You don't generally stand right in front of the person. You don't compare strength. You're going to turn to the side. But okay, I can just generate this straight forward and you go straight back. Okay, with Taiji push, you're pushing them pretty much straight back. With Kai, the simplest way, you're just going to go straight in and go straight back. It's very similar to push in Taiji action. But the thing that makes these takedowns we're going to look at unique is you stay fronting the person, you float them with this contact here, but then you're taking them down in a circle like this, or like this. So that power that was sending them back now takes them over. It's very dangerous to practice. You've got to have protective equipment. You have to be careful because you slam them on their head or their neck. But the key is to take this basic force, which is a lot safer to practice, and convert it into this circle going down. Okay, you look at the shape of that movement. I'm here, it's going here, it's the big lever. That's the takedown. And I've stayed in front of him the whole time. I continue to punch or defend against punches. I'm not in a position where I can be taken down. Now, let's look at do the same takedown to me. And when he goes to put his hand on my leg here to cut my knee, I'm going to change the angle, turn him away. If he really gets into that leg, I'll pull that leg back. Now look at the shape of this. It's exactly the same shape as when I went forward. That's the same shape for the defense. The same movement. So this is what they call a big man's bagua, using the really long handed stance and using the leverage from the length of your body. Okay, so I can generate this straight forward. I can modify it by taking any turns by cutting this leg. But the other way I can use the lever is that when he either, and we're going to talk about him shooting my legs later, but when he comes in to try to take me down, I turn him off, then it puts the lever down. Basically, the exact same shape, but it's down. And then you can see that all of your offense, if you're in a rooted position, you're right here, all the offense still works. You're not in a sprawl where you can't generate any leverage, any power. Now we will look at the countering the single and double leg takedowns with bagua. These takedowns have become the new fad in mixed martial arts. And it's time for all of you to learn how to not be taken down by these amateur wrestling moves. And we're going to change 9 degrees either off the line of my own attack. I'm going to come here and then this way, or off of his attack. He's shooting my legs, he's diving in, I'm turning, taking him out. Okay, go ahead and shoot to him. This is Wilson at the One Room Schoolhouse. We practice Gao style Bagua Zhang here. I do a lot of research using Chinese sources and have a deep interest in the oral tradition.
Gao Yisheng studied Bagua Zhang with Cheng Tinghua. But before he studied with him, he already has very solid, deep foundation of Xing Yi Quan. Therefore, in this 64 forms, he has a lot of movements that are directly from Xing Yi Quan. For instance, the hacking form, the 穿手, that penetrating palm, they are from the 五行拳. There's 5 elements, 五行连环, using 崩 and 炮拳 grouped together to fight the enemies. 移花接木天衣无缝, that means you use other things to help with the original, and then there is no crack in between. It's also called 金鸡十米. This is from the Xing Yi Quan's 鸡行四把, so the golden cock eats the rice. Cheng Yanhua used this form, and he has the name 推山入海. That means push the mountain, go to the sea. Xing Yi Quan and Bagua Zhang, the merging together. Gao Yisheng studied Bagua Zhang with Cheng Tinghua. But before he studied with him, he already has very solid, deep foundation of Xing Yi Quan. Therefore, in this 64 forms, he has a lot of movements that are directly from Xing Yi Quan. For instance, the hacking form, the 穿手, that penetrating palm, they are from the 五行拳. There's 5 elements, 五行连环, using 崩 and 炮拳 grouped together to fight the enemies. Xing Yi Quan and Bagua Zhang, the merging together. is the result of fighting experience. Xing Yi is very good for offense, but not enough outflanking tactics, whereas Bagua Zhang is just the opposite. So that's why when the two merge together, that is perfect. If Bagua Zhang can absorb other method for itself, it will create magical effect. This is the important characteristic of Bagua Zhang, because it can absorb others and then perfect itself. 移花接木天衣无缝, that means you use other things to help with the original, and then there is no crack in between. It's also called 金鸡十米. This is from the Xing Yi Quan's 鸡行四把, so the golden cock eats the rice. Cheng Yanhua used this form, and he has the name 推山入海. That means push the mountain, go to the sea.
This is Wilson at the one-room schoolhouse. We practice Gao-style Bagua Zhang here. I do a lot of research using Chinese sources and have a deep interest in the oral tradition.
Gao Yisheng studied Bagua Zhang with Cheng Tinghua. But before he studied with him, he already has very, very solid, deep foundation of Xing Yi Quan. Therefore, in these 64 forms, he has a lot of movements that are directly from Xing Yi Quan. For instance, the hacking form, the 穿手, that penetrating palm, they are from the 五行拳. These 5 elements, 五行连环, using 崩 and 炮拳, grouped together to fight the enemies. 移花接木天衣无缝, that means you use other things to help with the original, and then there is no crack in between. It's also called 金鸡十米. This is from the Xing Yi Quan's 鸡行四把, so the golden cock eats the rice. Cheng Yanhua used this form, and he has the name 推山入海. That means push the mountain, go to the sea. Xing Yi Quan and Bagua Zhang, the merging together. Gao Yisheng studied Bagua Zhang with Cheng Tinghua. But before he studied with him, he already has very, very solid, deep foundation of Xing Yi Quan. Therefore, in these 64 forms, he has a lot of movements that are directly from Xing Yi Quan. For instance, the hacking form, the 穿手, that penetrating palm, they are from the 五行拳. These 5 elements, 五行连环, using 崩 and 炮